Hello, welcome back to Mrs. Torres' YouTube channel. Today we are going to be factoring when a does not equal 1. Remember, a is your leading coefficient in standard form. So let's look at an example. We've got 5x squared minus 24x minus 36. So the first thing that we do is we look for a GCF, right? Maybe we can factor out this 5 and then we'll be able to factor like we know how. Well, you can't divide 24 or 36 by 5, so it looks like we can't factor out a GCF. So what we are going to do is called the slide and divide method. So our first step is to multiply A and C. That's the slide part. So A times C. Then we're going to rewrite the equation. So A times C is 5 times 36. That gives us 180. Then we're going to rewrite our expression, I should say, not equation. X squared minus 24x, and then we're going to use that A times C. So minus 180. Now we have a trinomial, we know how to factor. So you can either do guess and check or the box method, whatever you prefer. I'm going to use box method. So let's put the x squared here, the negative 180 here. Go through your factors of 180, 30, and 6x will work. And our 30 needs to be negative, right? So we get x and negative 30, x and positive 6. So when we factor that, we will get x minus 30, x plus 6. So that was our slide, and then we're here. Next, we need to divide out our a value, right? Because we multiplied it in here, we have to divide it out here. So divide by 5, divide by 5. So we get x minus 6, right? 30 divided by 5 gives you 6. Notice how 6 divided by 5, that is not going to be a whole number. It's going to be either a fraction or a decimal, right? So what we do is we take this 5 and we make it the x's coefficient. So that binomial becomes 5x plus 6. And that is our final answer. So if it doesn't divide without a remainder, we put the value in front of x. Let's do another example. 4n squared plus 14n minus 144. So first thing we still do is we look for a GCF. Looks like we can divide all of these by 2. So let's take out our GCF first. So inside the parentheses, we'll have 2n squared plus 7n minus 72. Don't forget this GCF. It's kind of just along for the ride, right? So our a is not 1, so let's slide and divide. So we're going to slide 2 into 72. I'm going to keep my GCF out here so I don't forget it at the end. We're going to rewrite our expression n squared plus 7n minus 144. Now we're going to factor what's in parentheses. If you want, you can do the box method or guess and check, whatever you prefer. So n squared negative 144. If we write out our factors, we will get negative 9 and positive 16, I think, because these multiply to negative 144, and if you add them, you get positive 7. Okay, so this will factor to, don't forget our GCF out front, n minus 9 and n plus 16. Now, a lot of us would stop there, right? But we can't forget slide and divide. So this 2 that we slid up here, we need to divide it out. So keep our GCF. We can't divide 9 by 2 without getting a remainder, so 2 becomes n's coefficient. 2n minus 9. We can divide 16 by 2. You get n plus 8. And that is our final answer. And of course, we can FOIL to check our answer, right? But I'll save you the work. I know that one is correct. All right, one more example. This one, the little tricky at the end. So we've got 4x squared plus 16x plus 7. Look for a GCF. We don't have one, so let's slide x squared plus 16x plus 28. All right, so we need two numbers that add to 16 and multiply to 28. Well, 14 and 2, that jumps out to me. So we've got x plus 14, x plus 2. So slide, factor, now we need to divide. So we divide both of these by 4. We can't divide 14 by 4, and we can't divide 2 by 4. So unlike in the front, where we could divide one of our factors by our a value, here we can't divide either one. So this is what we're going to do. We need to, so let's just write a little note. We can't divide either one by a, right? So this is only when you can't divide either one by a. What you do is reduce the fractions that you have. So 14 over 4. If you don't feel confident reducing fractions, there is a way to do it in your calculator. So we have 14 divided by 4, right? If you hit enter and then go to the math menu here, number 1 says frac. You can either hit 1 or hit 1 or the enter button. And it gives you 7 over 2. So that is my reduced fraction. So we have x plus 7 over 2. And then do the same thing for 2/4. That's going to be x plus 1/2. So reduce your fractions when you can't divide either one. That's a really, really important step. And then we can do what we'd normally do. We take the denominator and make it x's coefficient. So our final answer would be 2x plus 7 and 2x plus 1. So we do the same thing in the end. We just have to make sure we reduce our fractions, because if this is the wrong way, if we kept this as x plus 14 over 4 and x plus 2 over 4, and we said, okay, we can't divide, let's shoot the 4s out there, we would get 4x plus 14 and 4x plus 2. If we were to check this to see if it gives us our original trinomial, so 4x times 4x, 16x squared, we're already wrong, right? Our first term doesn't match. So we got to reduce fractions. There's your final answer. All right, see you in the next video.